we want people to leave Breakpoint and be like,
I
want to go back.
Yeah.
You know, like actually this was epic. Like the people here, the place here, like this is actually really special. The capital and the culture that London has is unmatched.
Welcome to The Local, where we get together with some of the most exciting people from the crypto space in and around the UK and London in particular, out to Europe and hopefully someday globally as well. Today I'm joined by Cap from Superteam. Hello, Cap.
Hello.
How are you doing?
I'm doing very good. I'm excited to be here. This is a lovely setting you have.
Yeah, you like our pub?
Yeah, I like a good pub. Good beer, good
Cheers,
vibes.
Cap.
Cheers to that.
Thanks for
cheers
coming
to The Local.
Yeah, cheers to The Local. Must drink.
You always got to drink after you have your cheers. Sacrilege otherwise.
I really appreciate you coming by because right now London is hosting DAF Digital Assets Forum. I know you're a busy man running around. I haven't quite made it out to the conference today for all sorts of reasons. I've been asked by someone on our team to sort of give you a little nudge and say, Cap, it's an interesting name. Yeah. Where did it come from?
So the story behind Cap was back when I was getting into Web3. Yeah. So I'd say I'm quite a late bloomer.
Okay, let's go right back. So like, late bloomer means what? Because
2021.
These conversations always go like this, and I don't know why it happens in crypto, but people always chuck out when they got into crypto.
Well, I think, if it ties into the story,
yeah.
But I also think it sets like your level of context.
Yeah.
So one big thing, because what we do is be able to help people get jobs into the industry.
Yeah.
And one of the big factors in it, you could be very skilled at like development or marketing or XYZ. But if you don't have the context of the industry, maybe you don't know the people, don't know the history, you haven't seen it, you haven't lived it, you don't feel it as much.
That's a really nice way to put it, because I always took it as a humble brag. You know, like these guys, I've been a bag holder since 2015. You're like, oh really? You must be really, really, really wealthy.
I've never been able to brag. I've always been the belt late.
Okay, yeah, no, that's good. Context is important, particularly in a space which has a very definitive culture a lot of the time.
Yeah, I'm very fast moving.
Yeah.
So like the vibe in 2027 and 2021 were very, very different.
Yeah.
Well, 2027 we haven't got to yet.
2017. I'm just going to nod. Never correct the guest. Okay, so, and Cap comes from where then?
So when I was first getting into the space, it was 2021. I just graduated. So I did my master's in economics at University of Edinburgh.
You're so young.
It's fast moving industry.
I'm 25 as well. It's just stressful industry.
I did a master's, so it was like 4 years up there.
Yeah.
So I'll be turning 27 in a couple of weeks.
Okay.
So for me, that was then my like going out into the world.
Yeah.
I got a job for a real estate company, but I knew that it wasn't exactly what I wanted to do.
And you hadn't had any crypto experience?
My only crypto experience to that date was when COVID happened.
Yeah.
The world went into meltdown. The S&P 500 crashed. And then that was my first actual exploration into stocks.
Okay.
Before then, never invested before. My parents' idea of investing was like saving money in a bank or like little pockets around the house.
Yep.
So it never came up in conversation. But when it happened and I was like old enough, I was like, oh, let me explore a little bit. Got Trading 212.
Okay.
Started watching YouTube.
Yep.
And then the algorithm showed me then crypto.
Yeah.
Through that.
Once you've made that first search. Trading, crypto, boom.
Yeah. And then so I went into this whole world, got my first bit of Bitcoin.
Okay.
Started collecting, saw the NFTs happen.
Yeah.
As a gamer growing up, I was like, digital assets, they probably have some value. I understand what that means.
You probably understood what that means, like intuitively. You're like, I know what skins are. I know how these things, okay.
People would spend 17K on a knife for CSGO. Like, okay, there's something here.
It's funny the number of people that I've met in the space of varying ages that come that gamer route. And there was a guy that we used to work with before we started Low Tech, and his route had been gaming as well. And he was like, okay, I bought and collected all these skins, and I was often paying in Bitcoin for these. Yeah, and so he was like, this is my routine. But he had that, we were working for a trading firm. He had that background. It was like, accruing value, working out what the true value of these skins were and passing them around. Yeah.
And like, it's something where it became very natural and very like normal to think, as technology evolves, this is one of the things that a new technology would be able to tap into.
Of course.
And create markets for these types of digital assets
that
were there. And so then that got me hooked a little bit more, and I was like, diving into it all. But I was still working for this real estate company. Yeah. And I didn't think I would actually go full into this Web3 space. That wasn't my intention. My intention was to actually join the Royal Marines. And I was just working for this real estate company because I missed the deadline to be able to apply for as I graduated. So I had to wait another year before I could actually go in.
Had that always been the goal?
It wasn't always the goal, but as I started going to my final couple of years at university, my goals very much became around who I wanted to become. And that man I could be. So when I saw and like learned more about, there's a guy called David Goggins.
I know Goggins,
and so I did, when I read his book.
Best version of yourself, and don't look back and be upset about the decisions you made.
I started really diving into a lot of these different things of mental toughness, building resilience. And then I started listening to other people who'd gone through the army, gone through these then type of really hard experiences. And the way I saw it was that would then allow me, post that world, to be able to come out and then go into business, then go into then doing it. Because I would have the tools, the mental toughness, the soft skills, the discipline to then be able to tackle it. And I would learn so much through that part of life.
It's incredible. It's incredible that you had that perceptive view on it at such a young age, because when I was working for a hedge fund in London many years ago now, but there was a particular bank that had a program for employing ex-service people, and they would bring them on, and it would be like a grown-up sort of graduate scheme. But you come out of Royal Marines, Army, Air Force, and you're looking for an alternative career. There was a route for them to come onto this bank, and these to a person, both male and female, they were incredibly good at what they did. And the defining characteristic was the discipline. Like they would just literally do what they said they were going to do when they were going to do it the whole time. And they would manage you and your expectations really well off the back of that. So but perceptive to have that thought early on.
And I saw then that I was like, okay, this is a path I can take down in life. And I know for certainty I'll get there. Then what happened was, as I always boxed, so I did box at high school or secondary school. I've got too many Americanisms.
You boxed? You used to be to Alex. You know Alex boxes?
No.
6'5" Alex boxes.
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
Okay, no, I wasn't.
He did white collar just before Christmas, I think.
Oh, awesome. Very cool.
But he had to wait ages to find someone his size. Because they were amateur, it needs to be really, really evened up.
Oh, but and so for me, that was like something I always enjoyed doing. At university, I did it a bit, and then I was still doing it. I got into a bit of Brazilian jiu-jitsu afterwards as well.
That's Lawrence's thing. Right?
Like it was like a whole different side of things as well. Because the gym that I then went to didn't have like boxing and kickboxing, and so Brazilian jiu-jitsu beforehand. So I did that, and then I would go to the kickboxing afterwards. And then this was in the time I was applying, so in the summer going into the autumn. And then what happened was I did the physical, and that was okay. 2 weeks before I had the medical, I dislocated my shoulder.
Oh, no.
And I was just on the pads, and I threw a right hook, and it popped out.
Wow.
I threw a hook, and it popped back in. And it was something where never happened before, never happened since, but it was like sudden. And that felt weird timing. So 2 weeks before I was meant to have this medical, this dislocated shoulder happened.
Bit of an omen.
And so when I went to medical, it was like, no, can't let you in. It's happened. Probably going to happen again.
Really?
Like it's a risk. And it's a risk they don't want to take.
Want to bear,
Like, because if it does happen, in worst case, in the middle of the field, I'm a liability to everybody else there.
That's miserable.
And so that was like, all right, that whole path
is closed.
Gone. At the same time, I was still exploring the Web3 on the side. I was buying NFTs. I flipped one, made 2K, and I was like, oh, magic internet money's real. And I was studying what they were doing. At university, I started a couple of marketing agencies. The first one was like drop shipping, selling dog beds. Then I turned into an affiliate site, grew an Instagram to 20,000 followers. Just like hustling and trying to learn about like how does social media marketing work? What do you need to do? And that made me no money, but it taught me a lot. I joined an accelerator in my final year at uni, turned what they wanted, a recruitment company, into a marketing agency, started doing it for clients, made them no money, but learned more. And for just that whole experience, like I had like a basis in marketing. That was quite natural for me. And that's what I was doing for a real estate company as well, in marketing operations, because at uni I did economics. I was most interested in behavioral economics. Because I like the psychology. I like the why do we do what we do.
It's an interesting section of economics in general, right? I mean, not dry, not microeconomics, and actually involves genuine human intention.
Exactly. And like a lot of economics, classical economics is flawed because it assumes where this irrationality, this random species, a Homo economicus. And so I then gravitated towards that, and then I saw marketing as applied behavior economics. So I just naturally found myself there. So then when this whole different avenue of going to the Marines was off the table, I was like, all right, well, I've kind of been watching these different projects launch. That was my decision process of like, which one should I buy? It was like, well, how did they market?
Right.
And like, how did they build their community?
Well, you had that knowledge to be able to rate that, what they did
exactly.
appropriately.
And then randomly on LinkedIn, this job popped up hiring for a NFT coordinator.
Okay.
And it was a company...
That well-known role.
Yeah. Well, because you might know the company. They're an agency they work with Zebu.
Yeah.
But then they became Flight Free after Stephen Bartlett acquired them.
Yeah.
And so I then randomly applied and I started going through. And so I had the interviews that went well, got down to the final decision, and there was 6 people voting. I love this little part of the story because it's like a good positive note to, there's been a couple people who have gave me like a little jump in my career. And this was one of them where there were 6 people voting. 5 voted for the other woman.
Yeah.
She worked for Christie's and Sotheby's, and she seemed like the right person to do a NFT project, which is art and going down that route. One person didn't, and he voted for me, and that was the CEO, Harry Horsfall. And he was like, fuck it, hire both.
Right. Nice.
And then she then lost her role after like a few months.
Okay.
And then I became one of their best employees. But it was at that moment when I then got that role that I had to create a Twitter account.
Yeah.
And for me, because the whole point of my career and put point in timing here, I got the role 2 weeks after the medical.
Okay.
So 2 weeks before, I dislocated my shoulder.
Okay.
Medical, 2 weeks afterwards, I got this role.
I guess you hadn't gone into you hadn't been applying in parallel. The medical was like, this is what I'm doing.
So like I was working for the real estate company, and my plan was because you would go in the next September.
Yep.
So my plan was, okay, I work for this real estate company for a year, and then I can go into it. But then you have to apply for the following year. So I was going through that process. After this medical, I would have then gone to like the actual first boot camps and like started then going through the final stages, which I'm confident myself I would have backed myself to be able to get through. And it was such like a moment where the timing feels weirdly odd.
A lot of serendipity.
And again, my goals were set on the personal outcome. So when I was then going into this new industry, and I was excited about this new industry because I saw it as like, I can get in early enough where I can grow my career faster. And like, I'm at the frontier of this new technology.
Yep.
And I kind of now have to, on myself, become that man I wanted to be.
Yep.
And the idea of...
It's not beholden on some institution to do it for me.
Exactly.
It's like, okay, I have to take this burden on myself. Or this
and
ambition.
So, as a Royal Marine, I was going to go officer level and become a captain after 2 years. And so then I was like, all right. So then that captain I would have become, I have to do now.
Yep.
Initially, I came up with my Twitter name because I couldn't just get Cap. That's a bit difficult to get on the username. So I called it Caponado.
Okay.
And then I launched a project, and then everyone started building up the communities and going for this whole story. And then so everyone just started shortening it, started with Cap. So I was like, all right, there we go, Cap. It is.
What was the? I'm fascinated by what the switchover was, because when did you start introducing yourself like verbally as Cap?
So a lot of what I initially did was online, right?
So you could just sign off as Cap, easy.
Yeah, it's completely normal. You know, like when you speak to somebody and you go on a crypto Twitter, where do you see the actual name?
Yeah.
They have a JPEG as a profile picture.
Yeah.
So like the idea of like, oh yeah, Cap. Oh yeah, that's pretty normal. When I started then doing events in person, and I had my first speaker gig, I wore a cap.
Okay.
And I kind of used that as like a little bit of the crutch.
Yeah.
To it of like, what do I call you, Cap? Cap. And it was like easier than going into this whole story.
Yeah. Okay, fair.
And then that then started like allowing the brand and like the name to actually then set in. That I then became known as Cap.
Yeah.
And that then suits me because it allows me to bring on this like, this is the person I want to be as the leader.
Okay.
As like
ties back to that initial ambition of...
Reminds me of the values I should stand by.
That's very cool. That's a great story. Thanks for sharing it.
Cool.
And your role now, I know you from Solana Superteam, but there's a whole context there that is interesting. Because you know what Solana is. How does Superteam fit into it, and how do you fit into Superteam?
Yeah. So Superteam is basically like a couple of different ways you can think about this.
Yeah.
The one way to think about it is Superteam is like the new markets division for the Solana Foundation.
Okay.
So in 2021, they were planning to expand. And instead of growing like a centralized company, which was growing the headcount, they were like, all right, let's do it in a decentralized way. And they started Superteam. Initially, it was a podcast, and then kind of like started proving this model where if you find a local leader in a region, empower them to grow it, then you can then build these local communities. They're centered around the builders and the talent.
Yep.
So then that started in India, then went to Vietnam, and then went to Germany, and then started expanded all across the world.
That's fascinating.
It's now in 20 different countries.
That's incredible. And so that comes out of the Solana Foundation?
Yeah, so we all get like an annual funding to be able to run what we do. Over time, we want the ecosystem to be able to support it. But it's kind of built in a way where we're like a public good.
Yeah.
Where that extension in the local area to be able to support the builders growing in the space, built under this brand of Superteam, so that we be able to have our own decisions, we can execute fast, and we can be able to make sure that we're doing what's best for our region.
And was there an application process for you personally to be the head of that in the UK? How did that work as well?
So as part of like working for this Zebu, what became Flight Free, I initially did this NFT side of things, launched a project, worked with all the NFT clients, but then when Luna crashed, the whole market died. And then I worked into a wider agency, working with the other different top clients that were coming forward. One of them in late 2022 was Solana. And they were launching Superteam Germany.
Yeah.
So I worked with Tamar, who was the head of Europe at the time.
Yeah.
And she was just really impressed with just my execution, my operation skills, like how I would just like work. And when we'd successfully done Germany and that launch was going good, the agency was never designed to be there forever. It's just like, launch it, okay, get going. And we're looking to the other ones. So initially she was like to us, all right, now we're looking to France. I was like, all right, cool. Let me get this together. Like agency hat on. What's the new package? What's this and that we can do? Analyzing everything we just done. What worked, what didn't work. What we're going to stop, start, continue. You know, like going through that whole shebang. And then France didn't end up working. It's like, the team that they had didn't quite make it all the way through the interview process.
But learnings, right?
But I had those learnings.
Yeah.
And then she was like, well, it was either France or UK. And it was almost like a conversation of, well, I can do the UK.
Yeah.
And she was like, yes. And then she like poached me to come and like join it. And I went through all the interview process. That went well. I was the youngest lead at the time to then jump into the role. And then I was able to jump in and get started. So June 2023.
June 2023. And in that role, you described it as a public good, which kind of makes sense intuitively. You want to do what? What does good look like for Superteam in the UK?
So we're focused on finding those early stage founders that we can be able to help support, unblock, move faster, and then the talent. So people we can be able to help, whether it's developers, creators, operators, get jobs and contracts.
Okay, amazing.
Into the industry.
Yeah.
So ultimately, we're like a curated community. There's a member group at the heart of it.
Yeah.
And then there's like layers around it driven by proof of work.
Yep.
So as you're able to showcase your skill sets and what you've accomplished, you can get more access into the community and then ultimately joining that member group.
And does that proof of work concept, is that core to what Superteam do in all their locations?
Yes.
It's like,
yeah. So it's one of the true values.
Yeah. There's got to be value that you can add to this community as a whole.
And like, so every region runs independently.
Yeah.
So we have this idea of being individual sovereigns. We each independently get funding. We each independently go through that process. But ultimately, we are on the same team. We share the same brand. And we want to support one another. So there's a playbook. We have global syncs. We kind of share the learnings that we're going through so that we can all learn faster. But ultimately, we have like individual authority within our region to decide what are the specific values that we adopt. What are the activations that we do? And one big thing I have here in the UK is this idea of win and help win. And I think that's a very like core philosophy that I want to be able to share, is that when you join into the ecosystem, I want you to feel that collaboration spirit.
Right.
I want you to feel that there's support there for you.
Yeah.
And it's about scaling beyond just us as a core team, but the whole community is there to support you. Because that's ultimately how you can move faster and how we as like a proponent of this decentralized organization and this protocol and this ecosystem can be able to give you the environment that will support you. Less so than you need to speak to me every single time. It's like, no, just come to the co-working Friday. The people there want to also help.
So that's, I mean, it's an incredibly noble undertaking. And certainly if you were a builder in the space, particularly as an individual where you wouldn't necessarily know how to find a deep set of these resources that you might need to build out your idea, this sounds ideal. How does Solana benefit from this? Like, how's the tie back there?
Well, so we're helping the founders build onto the Solana ecosystem.
Yeah.
And
so it always has to be, it's blockchain related, or that's part of the SDK that they're going to use?
Yeah, it's like the heart of it where most likely you'd be able to help a Web3 founder build their company. We do have AI founders who come in, but they're most likely looking at their blockchain application. That's our network, that's our ecosystem. That's where we can add the most value to them. And so for us, that's where like we have these, one good example of this is you have the Colosseum startup competition.
Yeah.
It's a global competition, happens twice a year, runs for 6 weeks, and you get a chance of winning $250,000 in pre-seed funding.
Nice. Where do I sign up? Oh, we're not pre-seeding. Okay.
And so that's the point, right? It's early stage teams that we're helping. And so a lot of the advice that we're giving them is like general advice.
Yeah.
Okay, when one of your first steps is validate the idea.
Right.
Before you go deep into it, it's like speak to the people in the ecosystem. They're like, well, who should I speak to?
Ask the questions.
Speak to these people.
Are going to trip them up when they first speak to a proper investor.
When they're going for creating that pitch deck, when they have that very first MVP, how do we get a bit of distribution for them? How do we tell them you should go speak to these spaces? How do we allow them to understand what type of MVP they should build? What is the current competitor analysis? Like, what is the climate looking like? Where's their gap in the market? And then all the way to like, how do they then raise those funding, speaking to those investors? And what's really nice here in the UK that we found, and again, every market's different. Speak to another Superteam lead, they'll probably give you a slightly different story.
Right. But as it should be, because they're building in a different location, different context.
And so for us, what we found here in the UK, we have a lot of very good founders who can raise funding. So we, across all the different super teams in the UK, our founders have raised the most funding. Over the last 2.5 years, they've raised over $40 million.
That's amazing.
In pre-seed and seed funding.
Because the UK scene for raising gets slammed a lot. Like, because it's not California, it's not New York. Like,
it is kind of true, though, that they haven't raised all of that funding from UK investors.
No. Yeah, I get it.
But the talent's here.
We've had conversations similarly when we've gone out to our potential investors and they're like, you would find it easier. They say you would find it easier if you're in New York. You would find it easier if you're in San Francisco. And you would probably like raise at a slightly higher valuation as well. And we're like, but there's talent here. And then there's practical,
especially as culture as well.
And there's practical considerations about I live here.
My family's here.
All that sort of stuff.
That is where my roots are.
But you're right. It's a misconception to think that UK founders can't raise. I think there's been loads of cases, and that's demonstrated by what you said as well. I don't want to label you the wrong thing here. Is it any different from an accelerator then?
So I have usually sometimes called us a talent accelerator.
Okay. Yeah.
But the difference is what we're always on.
Right.
So we don't necessarily accept cohorts and run it in cohorts.
It's not like here's your 3 months go.
Exactly.
Run. Yeah.
We've sometimes done little pop-ups. So we did do an accelerator last summer, but we did that very specifically with a company called Helpbank. So I don't know if you know a guy called Simon Squibb. He's all over socials.
He's
got a guy who was like, tell me
Smart
your dream.
Guy. Okay.
And so I met with him last year. Very similar goals, very similar missions. So we did an accelerator together.
That's cool.
Helpbank also know about Web3 and have been exploring it. You can go onto the platform, you get digital ID. Sign up to it.
Those things that he does, what you were saying, they're addictive, right? You see them and he walks up to people and he's like...
It's new, right? You don't know what you're going to expect. It's raw, it's honest, it's sort of like on the street. And his big thing is like everyone can have their dream come true.
And it's the ones that they come back like... next day.
It's
nice. You see me back here, and you're like, are they going to show up? Are they not going to show up? Yeah.
And so what we did was an accelerator specifically around how you adding blockchain into your business.
Okay.
And so we brought on 10 founders and we helped them add blockchain into what they're building.
Yeah.
And so that was something where it was a very specific type of accelerator.
Yeah.
Very specific campaign, very specific setup. But typically we're doing it as like always on. There's different frameworks that we have. We've recently started like looking at so across like in the UK, in like London, just for example, across the UK, there's more. We have bases in 7 different cities. But in just the UK, there's 850 founders that we've worked with over the last couple of years. Of those, there's some big, some small. But there's like 170 priority startups.
Yeah.
So ones that we see are like, you guys are already making the movement happen. That's still a lot. We've now been like moving them into what we call our leagues.
Okay.
So there's like Champions League, Premier League, Div 1, Div 2, Div 3.
Relegation?
There is a relegation. But over time, I can imagine that'll go into like the national leagues or like the non-professional.
Yeah.
They get split into different countries. But the idea thereof, there's certain framework that you would follow.
Yeah.
From validating the idea, building an MVP, getting that traction behind that, and now being at a point you have enough traction to then do your fundraising, and then you get into the Premier League when you've raised your pre-seed.
Yeah.
And then you get into the Champions League when you've done your seed.
Okay.
And then you can go to international level when you start becoming the ecosystem team, like world renowned.
Okay.
Going Series A and beyond. And so for us, being able to create that pathway for founders is always there. It's always open for them to be able to join in, be a part of. And the advice that we give is always there. The mentors there, the office hours, the workshops, they're always there. Be able to support them. We're working on systemizing more, creating better frameworks, and we have a really good head of ops, Jack Parker's building out the processes all behind that, so that we can be able to serve more people and to be able to take the opportunity and the public good that we have and make sure it's spread out to as many people as possible and the good that we do can be felt by more people. And hopefully what we hope is that for the UK, that helps make it a better environment for a founder to build here and stay here and be able to scale and continue that whole journey without feeling like they have to go elsewhere in order to do that. They feel like, the support is here for me.
You red-pilled me. I'm super impressed. You sound like you're very proud of what you do, and I think rightfully so.
Yeah, it's an honor and a privilege.
Yeah, to work with these early-stage founders and...
I get paid to run not-for-profit. It's a very rare situation that you get to be in.
Yeah.
And I've got a great team around us. We've got an amazing community. It's a great opportunity to be able to just do a lot of good for the UK and for the country I'm born in.
How would an early-stage founder find you initially? How would they come to Superteam? What would they do? Are they going to find you? I mean, obviously you have a physical location on...
Yep. It's at Somerset House on Fridays. And then online in general. Yep. So we're on all the different social accounts. Twitter's the main one, but then that's one. We also do tons of different events across the UK. So as I said, there's that London one, but there's also in 7 different cities in total. Yep. You can be able to find somebody. Manchester, Birmingham, Glasgow, Newcastle, Exeter, Brighton, Oxford. There's places that you can go. And we're always looking for new local leaders to be able to help us start more of these and to be able to give more of that space and opportunity to more people. So usually it's the event. And there's either a referral in from somebody, these co-working Friday events, different mixers, all different types of events that we're able to do to create those IRL space. We want to do more online events. And again, this is part of building out the better operation and processes behind us. And so that we can be able to facilitate more things at scale. But ultimately, that's where we've kind of found the referral basis. Yep. And then coming to the event, meeting in person is then a way we're able to break down those barriers. And then open the doors to how can we help?
Yeah. So it's clear that there's tangible benefit for the builders that you're working with in the way that Superteam operates and offers this system to get them to where they potentially need to be if they've got a tractable idea that works. And the public good that you wrap that in has the benefit for Solana in terms of if there's a tangible blockchain application within what they're building, then great. And you can work on integrating Solana as the main way to do that. Where else are you seeing Solana have successes at the moment at the sort of institutional level?
So Solana's general pitch is this idea of being internet capital markets.
Yeah.
And so for a traditional TradFi, it's about giving them new markets they can go into. So a net new distribution that they can tap into and giving them an opportunity to utilize different types of rails for what they're working on. So we are actually starting a few different things around this as well.
Okay.
So I talk about then that co-working Friday for the community at Somerset House.
Yep.
Funnily enough, that's going to open full-time from May.
Okay.
So that's really exciting.
Like Monday through Sunday or Monday through Friday or...
24/7.
24/7?
24/7. The only day it'll be closed is Christmas Day.
You're not going to be there the whole time, are you?
I won't be there the whole time, but it'll be there.
Okay.
And our members will have passes.
That's amazing.
Any time.
And some of Somerset House are obviously on board with this. They're like...
Yeah. So we've got a whole new area that's being renovated just for us.
Yeah.
So that's super exciting.
That's really cool.
Finishes the 1st of May from their side. We'll take a couple of weeks to move in.
What's an address as well?
Uh-huh.
What a location, what an address.
We've been there for the last 2 years.
Yeah.
So we've built up a really good rapport with the team. We are not-for-profit. I'm setting up the full CIC, so we'll be full not-for-profit. And so we fit their goals of supporting community impact and allowing people to upskill, get more jobs, be able to build companies that then hire more people. So we fit very nicely into that. And we're the tech side of it.
And that's May?
That'll be in May.
Congratulations. That's really good.
Thank you. But tonight, we're doing the TradFi side.
Okay.
So we're also launching another hub called the House of Sol.
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 Yeah, okay.
And this will be in Farringdon, Old Session House. So on the Lizzie line, it's easy for anyone. Liverpool Street, Canary Wharf, they'll be able to jump in. And this will now be our institutional member club.
Okay.
So a way that we're able to, similar what we found with the builders, creating those environments and experiences, being able to create that environment experience for them.
Okay.
So it's part of why Solana, why this ecosystem.
And target audience
is
institutional level decision makers.
Asset managers, financial institutions, going after then these key types of people. And not always the decision maker. And this was part of creating a space and a hub for it, in which you have the head of digital assets. There's still 20 people underneath them.
Yeah, and they can be champions, right?
Exactly.
Yeah.
And most importantly, we want them to feel the Web3 spirit. You know, it's a very different vibe in this industry.
Such a different vibe.
And so we want to give them a little piece of that. And we want to allow everyone to experience that. Yeah. Usually only the head digital assets get invited to the event.
But normally those profiles have been through the TradFi career anyway. So they haven't necessarily come up through the crypto rails and then hopped across to do head of digital. They've proven themselves out in the hard world of TradFi, got to a certain level, and then maybe it's been handed to them or they've sought it. But they haven't been a DJ.
They haven't been the crypto native.
Yeah.
That we'd want them to experience that energy. And so by creating that space where we can allow the company to experience it, speak to the other institutions as well, learn with one another. It was interesting enough, we do these like dry powder nights.
Okay.
Now it's like for us on the founder side, how do they connect to investors? How do we help bring together the investors here in London? So it's every first Tuesday of every month. We'll do like a small little gathering for our Web3 investors. I was speaking to one of them, obviously we just gone past the first Tuesday. So I was speaking to one of them and they were saying how it's interesting if you look at the head of digital assets between these different companies, is that they're very collaborative. If you looked at other like head of commodities or head of these spaces, they'll be like very competitive, very fiery. Here it's a lot more open. And I think it's because we're still at the time in the industry where we're still figuring it out. We're still understanding what works, what doesn't work, what way to do it, what not way to do it. And so it's very much more of an open conversation with it. And by creating that space where they can have these conversations and support one another, again, that philosophy of win and help win. How do we share that across then the institutional and TradFi space?
It's a reflection of the spirit within crypto in general, I think.
100%.
Composability and the slightly irreverent but also creative aspects that are within it.
Open source. You know, like we're very here of like, how can someone build it and then it can scale across for everybody rather than I build it and I hold it. You know, open source is a very different type of philosophy and grounding.
Yeah, very different mentality. If you're going to start a new project nowadays, blockchain becomes part of your standard development stack, right? AI is going to be there as well. If you're going to do anything that's value exchange or risk transfer, you are choosing a blockchain, and you're going to do that on the blockchain that suits your needs. With that in mind, there's obviously technological innovation that's happened to increase throughput and make them more robust and increase block space. And we've had a lot of L1s launched in the last 3, 4, 5 years. Do you think, given we're getting this adoption now and people are going, okay, I'm going to build this thing here, I'm going to need some AI, I'll go and get XYZ AI, I'm going to need some payment rails or value transfer rails, I'm going to go get blockchain over here. And it's almost as quick as that, decision-wise. Do you think we're past the point where we're going to see more L1s launched? Are we ever going to see another Solana or another Ethereum come along as a new chain?
Well, you just saw Vitalik talk about how like the L2s are like, that was like a misdirection for it. And I think where Solana always stood was this idea of you build SVM as a better virtual machine. It's faster, it's cheaper, you scale here, you don't need to spin off anywhere else. So it's kept that value of having a single L1 as well. You're also seeing right now, especially in the TradFi space, companies themselves set up their own chains. So Stripe do it. Like you're seeing all of these different places set up their own little chains. So I think you probably will see more people launch chains. But I think the difference will be distribution. Of like, well, if you launch your own chain, even if you build your own private one, you're getting no new distribution. You're cannibalizing your current network currently. But the whole point of a blockchain ecosystem and that network is that you can gain access to new investors, new traders. You can access new people. And so by building on an open network, like an L1, like a Solana, like a Ethereum, like any of these spaces, you get access to new people. And so that's where I think will be very difficult for a new L1 to come in. Because they will lack the history to build up that distribution. Because generally, if you're building a product, you want to be faster, cheaper, more efficient. Like we want something like this, And it's very difficult to beat some of these ecosystems, which have been growing for a long time and already have huge engineering teams, not just within the companies, but in the ecosystem, who are fully committed to making it faster.
I was going to say, and have roadmaps and have proven that they can deliver on the engineering side to increase throughput, increase TPS, or whatever is necessary.
I do think it would be very difficult for another L1 to come in. I think the only ways is through brands, through the additional, like the Stripe network, for example. Like their name lasts long.
So take it away from the technology and just make it part of the brand profile.
But I'm curious in the long run if they still ended up connecting to an open chain. So I ultimately do think that we don't know, but I think it will be very, very difficult for somebody to come in. Google is like the 18th search engine.
Yeah.
You know, but there's been like hundreds of L1s.
That's true. I hadn't thought about that. There have been hundreds of L1s, yeah.
So have we already gone past the 18th?
You go to a crypto conference and you still see hundreds of L1s, right?
We're looking at doing like a brain drain wall.
A brain drain wall? Wall.
Yeah.
Like a wall.
Yeah.
All right. I have no idea what that is. Tell me.
So
people who've left.
Yeah, you got it.
Okay, yeah, so I had to think about it for a sec.
That was good. I'm glad you got it, though.
Okay.
That means that the name kind of works.
Right. And so what, like, naming and shaming or naming and...
No, like more... So we also have a policy advisory board with the UK.
Yep.
We're actually the only super team that has like a policy advisory board. So they're here to be able to support, because we've had a policy lead. Society's done an incredible job over the last couple of years. She's now our growth lead.
Okay.
And we're seeing policy as one of our secret weapons in that like new growth. Because we want to, a very big thing of how do we get blockchain into the conversation of emerging tech?
Yeah.
And we are all at the frontier of tech in what we're doing. But we don't hear it, or the general vibe, you don't see that.
We've been saying this. Stephen at Lowtech was saying, look, fintech, we do well as a country and as a city in particular in London. Blockchain is just an extension of that.
Exactly.
Like, why are we so bad on the regulatory side?
And this is exactly why we had this policy side, why we had this advisory board, why we wanted to be in those conversations.
Yeah, of course. Okay.
Because even from our side, we represent the early stage founder. Most of the time in those conversations, it's all big companies.
Yep.
We can represent the vast majority of the new founders coming forward, who are the ones leaving. And so by us creating what we call this brain drain wall, we're able to create this visualization and data to be able to show to them that...
That's scary.
It is scary.
Yeah.
Because when we were speaking to the advisory board, we had our annual dinner last week, the vibe that we got was that there's this level of arrogance with the regulators.
Yep.
That they can charge whatever they want to charge and people will pay it. Because they want access to the UK market.
Yeah, but it's not just that they can take as long as they want to get the regulation in place because it's gold standard.
And
fine, but
there's a time window and we're losing.
Yeah, for sure.
And so hopefully we're able to do this campaign as a way to visualize it and show the data behind it.
Yeah.
And allow them, because we'll have imagine a website.
I can see already. My brain's firing off.
Little Polaroids of the people. Yep. And then everyone
funds raised, team sizes.
Yep, exactly. That's foreign direct investment lost.
Yep.
That's jobs lost. It's all of these things that the country's losing, which they care about to help GDP.
Yeah.
And we'll have X crosses over their faces.
Yeah.
If they've left. And then we'll have, do you know, this was funny, the society had was you have a red string off their name as well, and you go to all the different reasons.
Okay.
And then the red string's really important because that's you typically see in the detective board.
Yeah.
It's a crime scene.
Yeah.
And we're showing them these are all the reasons why they're leaving. And you can make measures to change this.
Yeah, and you can collate those stats and put them as simple data points.
And so for us, we'll have then that as and what I would then want is I want that to be above the fold of the website.
Yeah.
That's when you load in, that's what you see. But below the fold, I want to say, but it doesn't have to be that way. And here's the people here to support you. So regardless of any big picture regulatory or policy changes that can come of this campaign, at the very least, we can use it to capture attention and then show the people, but here's who to support you. These are all the different companies who run accelerators, do incubators, host free events, who have platforms, who have mentors, all of these different ways that can help support you build here.
If you want to build here, if you need to stay, if you...
Exactly.
Yeah, it's possible.
And so I hope then that could be a very interesting campaign for us this year, building up towards at the end of the year, we'll have Breakpoint coming to London.
Yeah.
And when you talk about foreign direct investment, this is a really big foreign direct capital on culture coming in. And so that's going to be a huge moment for the blockchain industry here to have this whole wave of the ecosystem come in. And if the country isn't noticing these injections that can be here, then it's an opportunity cost. You're leaving opportunity on the table. And so we hope this could be a very big campaign to then create a big moment where at that event you can have wow moments happen.
Yeah.
They could be wow, this is new. This is a frontier. oh, this is exciting. Like, oh, we should care about this more. Like, I do want to get into this. Like,
are you going to have
this is where I want to be.
A physical representation of the wall at Breakpoint?
So actually better than that. So if this campaign works, we'll do it online and we'll test it. I'm all about experimenting. So we test the experiment. If it kicks off, we actually want to take it to the political conferences.
Mm-hmm. Ooh,
and
okay.
we want to do, because we did it this year. We went to the Labour Party conference.
Yep.
And it was our first time doing a political conference. So we went to the people in power and was like, hey. And we talked about the risks of the AI and how blockchain can mitigate it.
Yep.
We did a fun little thing where we created a deep fake of Keir Starmer, making up some fun little rules, like Larry the Cat is now in power. And we put it on a billboard on a van and we drove it around the conference. And it was just simply this show. And we had disclaimers in. We properly showcased that this is a fake.
Yep.
But it was always just to show them that it's possible.
Yeah.
And there are risks, but a technology like blockchain can help mitigate these risks.
Yeah.
You have content authentication. And so for us, then being able to go across all the different political parties and do this like tour where we showcase this wall and we showcase like the talent that's leaving. And then we do a event called like the Top 1% event.
Yeah.
And this is a kind of question time format where we go across industries. So it's not blockchain at all. Well, part of it, but it's like generally frontier tech. And we just bring in professors, MP, founders, and we bring in like the key people who are at the frontier of tech. And we have like a big conversation. We have a question time type format where we talk about what is currently happening in tech and what can the UK do to do better, and how are we allowing in the community to ask their questions and say what is happening here, what can we do, and how do we can be build faster.
Is that going to be in Breakpoint? Or
these will be building up to Breakpoint.
Okay.
So all of these conferences are in like September, October.
Yeah.
And then Breakpoint is November 15th to 17th.
Talk to me more about Breakpoint. Like Breakpoint in London is incredibly exciting. So for those that don't know, Breakpoint is a Solana conference.
Yep.
It's been, I think, traditionally in Singapore, although last year it was in Abu Dhabi.
It's been around.
Okay.
So it was in Lisbon for the first 2 years.
Yep.
Then went to Amsterdam.
Yep.
Then went to Singapore.
Yep.
And then last year was in Abu Dhabi.
Okay. And my first exposure to it was I went to Token 2049 in Singapore.
Yep.
And it was the week after that, or towards the end of it.
Yeah.
And I came back and I had the biggest FOMO because everyone was like, Token 2049 that year was, for me, it was my first big conference to go to. And it was exciting. There was lots going on. I was running around sort of espousing how I was excited about low tech and what we were doing, and I really enjoyed it. But then to come home and then see what was going on at Breakpoint, I was like, oh, I should have stayed a bit longer. This looks amazing. And everyone said the execution by the conference team was fantastic, particularly in relation to be able to keep people in the conference and actually engaged at the conference, because crypto has this thing now where you go to the conference city, but it's all about the side events and the conference itself. But for Breakpoint, no, it was like people go to the conference and they listen and they engage. And then we went to, as a business, a couple of people were out in Abu Dhabi last year, came back, fantastic feedback as well. And then when we heard that it's going to be in London, I was like, oh my days, okay, this is fantastic. This is great. So tell me about it. When did you find out? Like, were you in the know the whole time?
I know a little bit before, but it was very much something where it was incredible to see the moment where it happened. Yeah. And everyone saw it coming there. And like Breakpoint is like a big family reunion of the entire ecosystem. That's where you get everyone staying there. Yeah. It's very sticky. And then the team doing an excellent job being able to host it, the operations, the logistics, the performance, like it is epic to be able to see. So it's very positive seeing it happen here. It's going to be at Olympia. Okay. And so West London, it's going to be a really cool. Olympia's just gone through a refurbishment.
I was going to say, hang on a sec. Like last time I drove past there, it was concrete and nothing.
And so they've fully refurbished it all. It looks pretty epic. And so 15th, 17th of November, that's going to be like the moment where it all comes together. One thing I love about Breakpoint, so we were talking about it just quickly but off camera, that there's no panels at Breakpoint. And that's very specific because panels are kind of dead. It's boring to kind of hear like one person talk after the other person after the other person.
It's a suboptimal format. Like run down the line of people, they all answer a bit of the question. It comes back to
And so that
I like your suggestion of like team on team debates.
Yeah. Well, I stole that from Breakpoint.
Okay.
So when we had the Singapore one, that's when they first did this. Right. They made this big thing of like, it's not your typical conference. And that was, I think, very exciting that you want to see. So you either have these like product keynotes, so like 5 minutes, rapid fire, and it's someone talking about like, this is what we've built.
Yep.
You know, this is already live, or this is now live.
Yep.
And it's like, this is the moment where you get to kind of like showcase to the industry and to everybody, like, well, we're not talking about use cases. Like, this is here.
5 minutes.
You can try it. 5 minutes.
Wow.
Rapid fire.
Yeah.
And then another format is these debates. So you have, we tried in Singapore, just individual debates. They tried in Abu Dhabi, team debates. And that kind of creates a different level of conversation.
It's different dynamic. Yeah.
A lot more interesting for the viewer to be able to see.
Yep.
And so the conversations that happen at Breakpoint on stage are more exciting.
Yeah, and then it spills over to the networking areas or the common areas.
The networking is really awesome. The space, so in Abu Dhabi, for example, it felt like a festival. And you're walking around, speaking to people that you knew. The atmosphere, the vibe is like electric. You can kind of feel it. And so when we're bringing it here to London, I'm really excited to see how that all goes, how we're able to allow people to walk in. Like Solana has this big thing of like neon lights, purple and green lights. And so walking in and you feel like, again, like the electricity. I think that's probably the best way to be able to put it. So I think that's going to be like super exciting to be able to see. But it's also, as you're saying about side events, like this is still very true.
Yeah.
There's still tons of side events that'll be going on.
Well, you get that many people from the crypto community in general, obviously with a Solana leaning in this case, but they come from all around the world.
Yes. Yeah.
And so there's lots of different representations of RWAs, Deepin, science, art, whatever. And so it's lovely to see all this stuff crop up and all these side events happen. And as long as they don't detract from the main conference too much, which if you've got all these innovations, hopefully it won't be.
No, and like because I think the big thing is that no one ever does an event inside the main conference time.
Yeah.
Like, and if they do, it's like the little breakfast beforehand right next to the venue. But it's always like that's the homing ground for everybody, and you span out.
That's nice.
Around it.
Yeah.
And what's exciting is that big thing for us being here in London is that I want to play onto the culture and the history and different experiences you otherwise wouldn't get. So part of that, we want to be able to extend the time period that people come to Londden.
Yeah.
So we're going to do a hacker house for the first couple of weeks of November.
Superteam Hacker House?
Yeah, we're going to be hosting it. The plan is to do it at Somerset House, where we'll have that permanent space as well. So that will be from the 1st of November to the 15th of November.
Are they aware of what is going to descend upon them at this time? This whole huge global community of people.
No, we've been lining all up.
Okay.
Maybe they haven't realized the energy that'll come in.
Yeah.
But it'll be like super exciting. And we will then host a bunch of different like events all around London, around the UK. You know, want people to do little day excursions out and around. Fun one we want to do is have a night over in the Natural History Museum.
Ooh, okay.
And so like different types of things that otherwise you wouldn't get to experience. Yeah. But shows why London is like a cultural hub of the world as well. And so that will then be a super exciting place for everyone to fly in, see London, end on then the big Breakpoint, and leave with, again, talk about this brain drain wall of people leaving the UK.
Yeah.
We want people to leave Breakpoint and be like, I want to go back.
Yeah.
You know, like actually this was epic. Like the people here, the place here, like this is actually really special. The capital and the culture that London has is unmatched, and like I want to be back in that.
I'm very excited for it. It's going to be a highlight of our year for sure.
And like for us, it's like what the big thing that we're building up towards.
Yeah.
So yeah, it's going to be epic.
And you're going to have to go to political conferences.
You have Star Crypto who's been there as well, and they give out donuts, so they give out a couple things as well. But usually we're the only like crypto people there. And so for us, it's an opportunity to speak to what we're more considered like the general public.
Yep.
And the people out there like who are everyday working, building, doing good work, important work, and how we are able to allow them to see the potential benefits that this industry could have.
Yeah,
and then within that conversation, how you're also going to then the people in power, allowing them to see about it and educating them on what is possible so that they can then be champions for us, because the UK does need more champions for it. And to our point, it's not in the frontier of technology conversation at the moment.
No.
We need to get it in.
Yep.
So I think we need to go to people who would otherwise just see tech, allow them to see, this is new tech as well.
I agree. It's kind of, certainly in the UK, it's kind of leapt from fintech to AI and kind of bypassed the crypto, despite crypto being hugely exciting and popular for all of the period, sort of in and around COVID and afterwards as well, and being an essential part of the technology stack that's going to
so important
exist going forward. Cap, this has been a fascinating chat. Thank you so much for coming in. I know you've got places to go, busy man during this week where we've got Digital Assets Forum going on. I really appreciate your time. And
thank you for having me.
Where can people find you if they need to? You didn't mention Twitter.
You can find Twitter's my main one. So Cap in UK there. I'm also on LinkedIn. So you can find me there. It's also Cap in UK.
Okay.
I actually got banned for a little bit on
You didn't
LinkedIn.
have a real name up there?
No, I did put up Cap and they said, no, you can't do that. Yeah. So you also find me as Stephen on LinkedIn.
Nice.
But then, they're a couple of best places to find me. But you always see me at Somerset House on a Friday if you want to be able to speak to the builders who are growing here. And tonight we'll be at the House of Soul.
Excellent. Thanks very much. Thanks very much for your time. I really appreciate it. Cheers.
Pleasure.
Bye.